a lot of you will have heard the saying, and it comes from a sales situation, of sell them what they want, but give them what they need. Now, that might sound great in theory, but when we sell them what they want, but then have to give them what they need, often we start to go way beyond the scope of that initial contract. And it could be interpreted by our client as a bait and switch maneuver. We're selling them one thing, but when we get in there, we start to look at what's going on, and then we say, no, well, really, you need much more. To me, that is not really ethical, and it potentially, again, undermines your authority, because you start to look like the bad guy. You start to look like the sort of consultants who are using the client's watch to tell them the time. It's in that sort of situation where it creates a bad feeling. There's a disturbance in the relationship with your client when you start to argue about the need for what you have signed up for and start to give them something different and usually more expensive. So my positioning on that is you want to sort that out before you commit your clients to working with you. When you can show them what they really need instead of what they thought they wanted before you sign any agreements with them about the work that you're going to do, there's a much better, stronger relationship established with your clients where they're willing to trust you, willing to accept what you want to say and do further down the track when you're working with those clients, because you've shown that you're willing to risk the sale for their good, for their benefit. When you've slowed down that sales process to say, hey, before we give you what you want, let's do a few tests. Let's run a few things by you just to make sure we're on the right pathway here. And if that discovery process uncovers a different need than they thought they needed, if they a different problem perhaps than they thought they wanted to solve, then the level of authority and trust that you establish with that client goes through the roof. It's astronomical in its power when the client knows that you're working for their benefit and risking the potential of a sale. Now, the risk here is you may lose some sales. Yes, that can happen, but that's why your need for speed is going to get you in more trouble ultimately when you give the clients what they think they want and then it doesn't really work out for them the way they wanted. When you don't solve the right problem for your clients and just give them what they want, you will have asked them to pay money for your services and leave them dissatisfied. And you all know what happens to your reputation when that's what happens. So it's much better to lose a few sales at the front end and have better, more satisfied clients at the end where you've done the work and they're satisfied, they paid the money happily to you because they've got the result that they were really looking for. When you just give them what they want with that need for speed, they often end up dissatisfied, unfulfilled, and somewhat angry at times about the quality of service that you've provided, even if you've given them exactly what they asked for. This is the danger of that need for speed, the need for getting back to your client, giving them what they want. It typically does not live up to the expectations of the client. It doesn't live up to your expectations to start with, because you know that you're not really doing the best work that you could do because you're limited and hamstrung by what you've signed up for. But the client on the other end doesn't get what they really need. Therefore, they will not be happy. They will look at it and say, you've sold us a pup here. You've sold us something that's just taken our money and not really given us a result. I'm sure you're not in business for that. I'm sure you've got more integrity than that. But perhaps you don't have the skill in the sales and marketing process to stand up to that power and control that quite authoritative clients will exert on you. And that's the challenge for us a lot of the time. Being a consultant, particularly in a business setting, we have clients who are in powerful positions. They're used to having command. They're used to having their wishes followed. They're used to setting the tone. They're used to telling other people what they want them to do. So when we confront a character like that, it's often difficult to stand up and be the authority. We get steamrolled by their power and their presence. We have charismatic people, charismatic leaders that we have to say, hold on, in this situation, I'm the authority. Let me check that we are solving the right problem before I commit to doing work with you. If you don't give me the time and the power to do that, then I don't think we can